This episode is sponsored by Amy Wangard. The Amy Wangard Group is proud to serve Northeast Ohio and all YSU alumni. Ranked 15th out of more than 10,000 realtors across 27 counties, Amy and her team deliver trusted, professional real estate advice for your most significant investment. Through exclusive programs designed to simplify buying and selling, they offer solutions you won't find anywhere else, helping clients move confidently at every step. Their goal is to maximize your value and provide a smooth, stress-free experience that turns your dreams into reality. At the Amy Wangard Group, clients become family, and every home is a new beginning. Learn more at amysguaranteed.com. Again, that's amyguaranteed.com. The link will be posted in the description. All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Penguin Nation Fans Podcast. As always, I am your host, Gino Leone. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Whitetown Nation. And don't forget to check out my written work over on Redshirt Sports. Today, I will be previewing the tight end room and looking at a position group that quietly became one of the most interesting groups on the roster last season. Heading into 2025, we sort of expected the tight end rotation to be dominated by both Colt Seacrest and Austin Bray, but injuries sort of shook up the rotation and forced the coaching staff to adjust the depth chart, and that resulted in a couple of unexpected names stepping up. Alex McDonald here is the first name. He just had an outstanding season. He had primarily been a special teams contributor his entire career at Youngstown State, but last season he exploded with 12 receptions, 120 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also proved his versatility in run blocking and just being a good overall tight end, and I really value that pass catching ability because, again, that Mike Yurcich system really values explosiveness, and to have tight ends that can do that can have a campaign like that where they're effective in the passing game, that's really encouraging heading into another season where we lose some talent at wide receiver. And with tight ends back, some continuity in the tight end room and some good pass catching options there, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see these tight ends be used more in the passing game. McDonald scored touchdowns last season against Towson, North Dakota State, Northern Iowa, and his performance really turned him into a reliable option in the offense, and he might be the front runner to earn the starting tight end role. Heading into next season, it's going to be competitive with a guy like McDonald and Manna, a guy like Austin Bray pushing for that. Austin Bray is also a phenomenal pass catcher. We have some really athletic options here at tight end, but McDonald and Manna also was somebody that emerged last season. He appeared in 9 games, made 1 start versus Towson. He had 5 receptions for 30 yards, but South Dakota State breakout game, 3 catches, 18 yards. His size and athleticism gives him sort of that versatility that I talked about with Alex McDonald. Manna is not as experienced as McDonald, but I really like what he was able to accomplish last season. I thought he was a solid option to go to when he was on the field last season. And again, these two, Manna and McDonald, they stepped up when it mattered the most. And when guys went down with injuries, these two were able to emerge. So next season, the returning core, it's going to it's going to be founded on a 3-player rotation at tight end with Bray, McDonald, and Manna. The key strengths of this group: experience in the offense, versatility in both run blocking and pass catching, as I've talked about extensively with both Manna and Bray. And then that chemistry with quarterback Bill Brungard is an underrated factor in getting these guys back. With Max Tomczak gone, I talked about this on my wide receiver episode, he's going to have to find someone else to go to. And at wide receiver, I'm not so sure we have a top end target that Bo is going to consistently go to. I think we have a more balanced room, which is a good thing, but that also means that some of those other receptions might go more towards the tight ends and guys that have been in the system and have been with the program and know what Mike Yurcich is going to do and have that connection with Bo Brungard. So the question is, can a younger player crack the tight end rotation? Because I don't want to make this mistake that I made last year and just overlooking the rest of the tight end room, because as we saw last year, right, we thought that Colt Seacrest and Austin Bray would really control the tight end race. I didn't really think anybody else had a chance of getting on the field, maybe in some garbage time reps. But I was wrong, right? Injuries forced us to sort of put some younger guys in, and they really did step up to the occasion. So some dark horse candidates this spring and some under-the-radar guys for next fall. Maddox Bloomgren is probably the most interesting guy that falls into this group. He's been in the program for 2 seasons, but he has not seen the field yet. His high school resume is impressive. He was a first-team all-district selection at Dripping Springs High School in Texas as a senior. He had 29 receptions, 297 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And his recruiting interest is something to look at and something to note, because he had offers reportedly, according to On3 Sports, from Incarnate Word, Houston Christian, and Sam Houston State. Incarnate Word, outside of last season, they've been a solid program that has repeatedly brought in the right talent. And so it's very encouraging to see that some of these in-state schools were trying to see Bloomgren here, and we were able to recruit in Texas and get Bloomgren to come to Youngstown State. Experience in the system might give him an early edge in competition over the other 2 prospects here in the tight end room. Alex Reese is the next sort of dark horse candidate in this tight end race. He's one of the most physically intriguing tight ends on the roster. He's 6'6", 215 pounds, just an absolute monster frame. He played both tight end and defensive end, Division V co-defensive player of the year. He earned first-team all-district honors. He was also a phenomenal basketball player. As a junior, he averaged 25.9 points per game, which is just straight-up ridiculous, and he was named a second-team Division III All-Ohio selection. That athletic background could translate well to the tight end position, and Doug Phillips has done just an excellent job of recruiting tight end and understanding what it takes to bring in successful tight ends. We saw this last season with McDonald and Manna. He brings in guys that are athletic. They're guys that can contribute in multiple facets of the game and give us an edge. It's important that we're able to have tight ends that not only run block, but can also leak down the field and be a receiving, reliable option for quarterback Bo Brungard. Doug Phillips has really done a phenomenal job with the tight ends. I'm not going to shy away from giving him flowers here. The tight end room is very deep, and I've been very impressed with what Doug Phillips has been able to accomplish at tight end. And then the last player here in this dark horse candidate race is Max Welter, another massive target, 6'7", 215 pounds. You know, that's a big boy for a tight end. He played in 2 games last season, Murray State, Northern Iowa. He got on the field. Unlike some of these other options like Bloomgren, he has high school versatility, tight end, wide receiver, long snapper. Again, that's that sort of recruiting footprint that Doug Phillips is looking for in a tight end, somebody that, is a multi-sport athlete. Welter's, he played basketball as well. People that played at multiple different positions. We saw that with both Reese and Welter here. So, with all this background, I think his size, Welter could make him a very intriguing red zone option. And here's why tight end could matter more in 2026. I briefly talked about this towards the beginning of the episode, but with a returning quarterback like Bo Brungard, offensive line continuity, tight ends can really help stretch the middle of the field. They can improve the run game, and they can create those mismatches against linebackers. I feel good about our top 3 guys at tight end creating those mismatches in the passing game against linebackers. Alex McDonald is a phenomenal tight end that can leak out and catch a ball and be an effective passing option. Same for Micheal Manna, same for Austin Bray. So tight ends may become a bigger part of the passing attack with all this turnover at wide receiver with Max Tomczak gone, with Flash Wilson gone, Mike Solomon, Luke Hensley, a revamped wide receiver core. These tight ends are really going to have that advantage over maybe some of the transfer wide receivers that are coming into the system and sort of fighting and competing for starting roles. So what once looked like a thin position group, this has actually turned into one of the deeper units on the roster. Multiple contributors are coming back. I'm so confident in our development right now. I think the development of the program and just building strength with these players has been phenomenal. And I think if the tight end group continues to develop, the tight end position could become a major factor in the Penguins offense in 2026. My sort of take here, I don't even think this would be that much of a hot take. I think a YSU tight end will score at least 5 touchdowns this season. McDonald led us in receiving touchdowns last season with 3. So I think this is sort of a, right on the cusp type of move. Again, with Tomczak gone, with Wilson gone, with Hensley, Solomon gone, I think that's just going to inherently open the position up for someone else like McDonald or Manna or Bray to step up. It's going to be hard for an individual tight end to get 5 touchdowns, but McDonald really pushed it last season. And you have to wonder if he got the start right away last season, if he would have been able to reach that 5 touchdown landmark. We'll have to sort of see. But, that's going to do it for this edition of the Penguin Nation Fans Podcast. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to leave the show a 5-star review and continue to support the podcast on social media. For now, I'm Gino Leone, and as always, go Gwins.